Moving out of childhood, I would think that this swirling pit in my belly was just puberty taking root. That the mess of emotions would go away as soon as the seed burst from within and propelled me from this weird in between under the canopy closet and into adulthood, where I would suddenly have enough power to look around and make the right judgments about what the world is. That the world would somehow change shape, color, form. That what I felt now about the world didn't make enough sense, but that someday it would all magically make sense. But the more I started reading, the more I started experiencing, the more I tried to make sense of the world, the less sense it seemed to make. Why would we go to such extents to hurt another life? They define us, they reprimand us, they assert upon us a history and a fate. Our current systems point towards a future where the powerfully ignorant warm their hands over a burning world, where the systems that have oppressed for eons get enforced, concretized, sickeningly enshrined, where realities are dismissed as made up fiction and the fiction that was supposed to warn us comes to become reality. The blissfully ignorant and the selfishly aware are hurtling us to our doom. And we the apparent children of the world, born into systems we didn't build, we don't know what to do. I'm not sure why I do what I do. I've been told that I'm over-empathetic, overacting, overthinking. I've been told that I don't live enough. To be fair, quantities determined by typical set standards and norms are hard to understand. So I've struggled to understand degree as a concept. As in, to what degree is so-and-so decision beneficial in so-and-so context? My economics teacher asked me. I hesitate between to a little degree or to too much degree. Two options I oscillate between. I spend my weeks hop, skip, jumping between intense advocacy, planning 10 events, attending 10 others, signing up for 10 different projects, never saying no to numbing the flame inside, questioning my identities, losing passion, pouring water over the paintings I made last week. I've struggled to understand degree. Degree as in the online flooding simulator I was introduced to at a theatrical performance by a fellow eco-anxious artist trying to make sense of the mathematics that us. To what degree would you like us to model your future to? To a high climate action degree or to a high climate denial degree? To a high political awareness degree or a high corruption degree? To the worst possible degree or to an optimistic degree? Mix and match up the scales enough and there'll be at least one possible future where your home address is not underwater. Degree as in, what major should I get a degree in? English literature, sociology, art, environmental science? To what degree would I be able to create an impact with such degrees? To what degree do I feel passionate about these things each week? To what degree will I be able to finance my future without having to worry about not just the climate crisis but also student debt? Degree as in, to what degree are my passions the things I care about, and to what extent are my passions the things I should care about? Degree as in, to what degree should I be involved in the climate movement? Ankle deep, waist deep, neck deep. Degree as in, to what degree will we have a normal monsoon? To what degree can we consider any monsoon to be normal? To what degree should I invest my energies in living sustainably when environmental justice seems to be way higher up on the urgency scale? To what degree am I political? To what degree do I belong to the coast my great grandparents migrated away from? To what degree do I belong to the reclaimed islands I was born in? To what degree do I belong to the sea? To what degree do I belong to its plastics? Degree as in 1.5 degrees. Changing bodies, changing selves, changing ecologies. A spiritual physics teacher muses one day in class that change is the only constant, while I struggle to understand the mathematics involved. Eventually, I get it, which I suppose provides evidence enough that change is possible. So, can systems change too? If I study hard enough, get together enough people, implement enough policies, grow enough plants, can I help? Well, enough is subjective. To me, the complex, indefinitely intricate, interconnected, intersectional systems, the webbings of a spider, are easier to understand than most people, the units of said systems. To what degree are individual people in the present a part of these historically constructed structures? To what degree are we complicit, and to what degree are we trapped in its boxes? To what degree are we drops in an ocean? To what degree are we blades of grass in a forest where the soil is an organ within us? How can we entirely dismantle the systems that outright suck and modify the ones that need desperate change? How can we build something together? How can we co-create our futures? How can we live to breathe and love and make art? We, as in everyone. The young, the adult, the old, the in-between, all species. How can we build community around inclusion and equity and resilience? How can we realize the collectiveness of the emotions that we used to think isolated us? How can we respect and be guided by intergenerational wisdom, by indigenous wisdom, by academic knowledge, by activist knowledge, by expert knowledge, by care providers' knowledge, by lived experience, without tokenizing, objectifying, or capitalizing off any of it? How do we acknowledge that exhaustion and boredom and anger and overstimulation and detachment and guilt and anxiety and doubt are just as valid emotions as responses to a crisis none of us fully understand individually, but that all of us collectively know more than enough about? How do we learn to collate all of what we can do and bond over the simple joy of experiencing nature, of looking to the future with hope, of knowing that someone out there feels the same as you? How do we come together globally to honor the way of life, the whole of life? Maybe we just need to ask the child within. The child who understands rain is rain, earth is earth, leaf is leaf, love is love, human is human, bird is bird. The newborn who doesn't yet know ageism, racism, casteism, ableism, cissexism, and common equity phobias that are just euphemisms for discrimination and all its horrors. Maybe we just need to ask the child within. The seed who doesn't measure time or degree or extent and just grows at its own pace, joining a forest, becoming one with the earth, standing on the shoulder of giants.